This week's Parshas Shelach, the Torah starts off talking about the episode of the Meraglim, the spies that Moshe Rabbeinu sent into Eretz Yisrael to check out and scout out to see if the land was good. And many Mefarshim have an issue with this parsha, a few issues, a bunch of questions. Because number one, we know we were punished because of this. They came back with a false report and said Lashon Hara about Eretz Yisrael, and we ended up wandering in the desert in the Midbar for an additional 40 years because of it. So the first question is, what was the big chet? What was the big sin that they did? Moshe Rabbeinu sent them in to the land. They came back with the report. They did what they were told. What was the big issue? That's number one. Number two is these Meraglim were tzaddikim. They were heads of the Shvatim. Not the Nasi, but the heads. In fact, the Baal Turim says that the ends of the word Shelach, Lecha, Anashim is Seif Tevis Chacham. Why? Because they were Chachamim or tzaddikim. They were. So how could these high-statured people fall to such a low level if they were such tzaddikim? And lastly, Yeshua and Kalev, who were part of the Meraglim, how did they not fall into the trap, or to say Lashon Hara, about Eretz Yisrael with the other 10 spies? Meaning they were also on a high level, so why were they not brought down with them? So the Chafetz Chaim explains that the entire chet of the Meraglim could be summed up in one word. Efes. But when they gave over their report, they said that the land is flowing with milk and honey. Zavas cholav v'dvashi v'zeh Efes. But, and then they went on to say that the nation's so strong and they live in these fortified cities. It's impossible to break through, and there's giants there, and these nations are so strong. And they went on and on and on about that. Efes changes the whole sentence. If I say to someone, I'm sorry for doing this, but the only thing that matters is the end of the sentence after the word but. Because that's the most important point. They chose to focus on the negative parts, not the positive parts. They should have said that the nations there are strong, there are fortified cities, and it's very hard to break through, but we have Hashem on our side. But Hashem will do anything for us. But look what Hashem did to Mitzrayim, and to the Yamsuf, and to the Makos, and to all the miracles Hashem did for us. Hashem could do anything. That's what they should have said. Because they didn't have B'tachan HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that was their mistake. And Mida Keneged Mida, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took away his Siyata D'Shmaya from them. Because even the biggest tzaddik in the world, the Gemara says, without Hashem helping him, the Yitzroi, his Yetzer Hara, would be Mizgaber on him B'chol Yom. The Gemara says, without Hashem's help, we wouldn't be able to do anything, even the biggest tzaddik. So that answers the question. These were the biggest tzaddikim, but because they didn't have B'tachan in Hashem and they chose to highlight the wrong part, Hashem took away his Siyata D'Shmaya from them. Without Siyata D'Shmaya, a person can't do anything. In fact, it reminds me of a story I heard from Ramesh Elephant from the OU in a podcast when he was interviewed about his brother-in-law, Reb Zachari Walstein Zatzal. He said that we say a Rebbeinu Shalom in the Zmiris, Matzah Shabbos, a lot of people have the minhag to say it. And there were a bunch of Chassidim that came to the Baal Shem Tov, and they asked him, what's the most important shar? In the Rebbeinu Shalom, we say there's a new week coming, and Hashem should open all the gates for us, the Shari Oira, Shari Bracha, Shari Gedula. It's an Aleph Beis order. And they asked him, what's the most important one at all of them? He said, that's a very easy question. Even my little daughter, Udal, could answer it. So they called her in, and they asked her, what's the most important shar? And she said, Shar Siyat D'Shmaya. That's so easy. Because if you have Siyat D'Shmaya, you have everything. You don't need anything else. All you need is Siyat D'Shmaya from Hashem. So Hashem took away the Siyat D'Shmaya from these tzaddikim. That's how they fell to the lowest depths and became such Rishayim that they were destroyed because of it. And that's why we were punished in the Midbar. However, Yeshua and Kalev, Yeshua had a Yud added to his name from Moshe Rabbeinu, which Hashem said, Moshe Rabbeinu davened, Kol Yoshiacha, Hashem should save you. So he had Siyat D'Shmaya. And Kalev had the schus of going to Chevron first to daven by Kibriyavis for Siyat D'Shmaya. So Mela, them two were saved, but the rest of the Meraglim were destroyed. We should talk a bizoicha to have a beautiful Shabbos. Good Shabbos.